keep these videos short, I'm going to divide this next topic up into 3 subtopics. And the topic I'm going to be dealing with is guilt. I think probably many people who have lost someone close to them, they may go through experiencing doubts and questions, guilt, feeling about, was there something I could have done differently? I'm coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my husband's death, and I can't tell you the hundreds of times that I have replayed the events prior to his death, events, months, years before that led to the day that he passed away, events, last few weeks of his life. How many times those thoughts have went through my mind, how many times I've had questions and wondering, was there something I could do to have prevented this? Could I have made a difference? And, it's difficult. It is so difficult because you wish so bad that you could have changed it, that you could have made it different. And, so many times I'll tell my kids, sometimes my kids like to talk about time travel, if time travel existed, if time travel was for real. And I said, well, if I could time travel, I would go back to save him. I would go back to, and it's funny because my whole life people would talk about how they wish they could go back to a certain point in their life and change things. And I never felt that way because I was happy with everything in my life. And though I've made mistakes through the years and there's things I messed up along the way, I wouldn't have changed it because I loved where we were in life. But losing my husband is the one thing that I would definitely go back and change if I could. And so, yeah, you deal with guilt sometimes of, could I have made a difference? And I'm going to deal with some other parts of that guilt in the next 2 videos. But the first part of, is there anything I could have done differently in the natural? As far as what if I had gotten him to a doctor sooner? What if I had given him, maybe I should have been more conscious of the fact that I needed to feed him certain foods, or although he wasn't a terrible eater or anything like that, but still those questions. Was there something I should have done? Maybe we shouldn't have followed a certain plan at the hospital. Maybe we should have done something differently. So all those questions will bombard you, and honestly, it's like I don't have an answer of could I have changed it, and there's no way to know if I could have changed it. There's no way to go back in time. And so I just have to trust God. And it's hard, I get it. It's hard to say, I don't know if I could have done anything any differently. And I know there's people that's, you're dealing with, maybe that in some way you contributed to whatever it was. And that guilt of what if, look what's happened. Look what's happened. Could I have changed the outcome if I had done something differently? And even though, honestly, we just can't beat ourselves up with that. That's what Satan wants you to do, is to get in a place of just beating yourself up with the what ifs and why didn't I do this differently and why didn't I do that differently. That's where Satan wants you to be. God does not want you in a place of feeling like you have to beat yourself up about everything and question every move you made. Just trust God. Just trust God and realize that wherever, and again, even if you played some part, realize that, God forgives. You must forgive yourself at times. If you feel guilty, you must forgive yourself and let God heal your heart, and understand that, perhaps you did all that you knew to do and it just didn't turn out the way you had hoped. And there's no explanation. There's no explanation other than this is just what God allowed, and you just have to trust that He is ultimately in charge. That ultimately God knew and God allowed it, and you just have to trust Him. And I know that's hard, and I sound like I don't have any sympathy, but I honestly do, because I just got through saying I've gone through this all year long of replaying and wishing I did something different. But at the end, I just can't. I know God doesn't want me to live there. I know God does not want me to live in a place of beating myself up, but instead He wants me to trust Him and let Him heal my heart. Let Him heal my heart. And that's what I pray that you will do. Just let God heal your heart and remove all the guilt. He does not want you to be bound and burdened by guilt.